Hi guys, so a bit more of a better test on the Master. Tyres pumped up properly, suspension up to 150 psi at the moment, and we'll see how it goes. Initial impressions are, it's just night and day in terms of riding non-suspension to suspension. It's my first suspension wheel. It's only set to 150 psi, but somehow it just seems alright. I mean, it's not rugged trails, so maybe if I were doing, I don't know, more jumps and more vigorous jumping and things like that. I'm not the lightest of people, but I'm also not too heavy. So far so good. I have got a pump, so just in case I need to on the way round, but yeah, initial impression, especially on some of this sort of gravelly stuff, is a lot better than it would be on the Sherman. Love my Sherman, and it's not going to beat it for range, but for a bit of fun, it's pretty good so far. One thing to note is I don't think it's got certainly got the acceleration, there's no question there. I don't think it's quite got the stopping power like the Sherman has. mean, I've seen it on other videos, but you know, it's fine. It's just that I think you have to, with this one, you probably have to preempt stopping a bit more. Yeah, so rides across the Greenway, or a bit of the Greenway, top speed of about 25-26 miles per hour, and battery depleted about 5%. It was fully charged when I left. So it's definitely one of those. It's a performance wheel with suspension. It's not long range, so I kind of knew that buying this. Yeah, I mean, actually riding it though is night and day on the trails. It's like, soaks up the bumps. I'm only running at 150 psi as well. I suppose it's the only thing for me is just is that initial getting on is obviously a lot higher than the Sherman Max, so it takes a bit getting used to. But once I'm on, it's fine. It doesn't feel any heavier than the Sherman Max when you're riding it. Obviously, it is heavier. It's something like 42 kilos or something daft like that. But yeah, it's definitely fun. It's definitely got a lot of speed, like the Sherman Max. Sherman Max has got a lot of speed, so is this. But this, with the added benefit of suspension, does help, and it helps soak up the knees, especially on trails. So far so good. I don't know what this will be like through some of the routed parts of the trail where we go in and out of sort of like a tree trail. That can be challenging, not because I don't think it can handle it. I think it's going to take a bit more to move. Smaller wheels have more manoeuvrability through things like that than maybe this will, but time will tell. But yeah, I mean, I know people diss the shock, the air shock on the Master, the stock one, but to be honest, I suppose I've got nothing to compare it to, and for my first suspension wheel, seems fine. But like I said, I think if I was doing bigger jumps perhaps and things like that where it might bottom out, that might be different. But actually it's not bottoming out at all, and I've got a lot of give in terms of the suspension, so it is soaking up any of the bumps out here on the trail. But yeah, a lot of good fun, just enjoying a bit of peace and quiet and some sunshine finally. Trails are starting to dry up. They're not quite dry enough yet. There's still some muddy sort of patches that could slip, but I've got a Kendra off-road knobby tyre on the Master as well, so that does that quite well. One of the things I do like, the screen on it is really visible even in sunshine. I don't know if you can see that. But when you're riding along, the ability to kind of look down and see it, and it's a good place. It's further enough forward to actually be able to see it properly. But yeah, initial impressions are good so far. This may well be my trial or trail wheel, with the Sherman Max being the more long range cruising, you know, longer distance type wheel. I'm not sure. I like them both, to be honest. I wouldn't get rid of my Max. There's nothing really out there, I would say, that will replace it. I suppose, you know, with the Sherman S, but I have this and I have my Sherman Max, so I kind of have the best of both, in my opinion. And actually it seems quite a solid wheel, and the fact that I bought this from E-Rides, it was an ex-demo, but only like 400 odd miles on the clock, and it's in perfect condition. It's been well looked after. I got some of E-Ride's new pads on here as well. They're really good, so comfortable, and quite cheap actually, just over £100, and come with these lights on the front, on the back, and some more around there. And they put this hardened sort of material with Velcro on it as well, so it protects the batteries, and obviously you can put pads on easier. I may change the shock at some point, but like I said, at the moment it does what I need it to do. Yeah, I suppose I'll just continue playing with it until, you know, I get it right. At the moment it is right, and the seat's slightly split there, but no biggie. Yeah, pretty happy with it, to be honest.